as long as we're fighting each other, we're not fighting the people that are trying to manipulate and control us and cash out on the whole mess. As long as this is all going on, the dating and the relationship is just a part of it. It's just a subset of it. We just need to keep going bigger and bigger and bigger into what is tearing everything apart. I think once you find what's tearing everything apart and tearing everything down and making us all hate each other for various reasons, when you start finding out what that's about, why it's being done, and we start working from big to small, maybe we get some help. But right now, the relationship thing is small in all things given. I mean, it has a big impact on our future, but I think it's small. We need to start looking at bigger because men are becoming more conservative and voting Republican. Women are or late or Tory or whatever you want to call it, Brexit. What is it now? What a
Conservative.
reform?
Oh, reform.
Reform
Yeah, yeah.
over in the UK. You've got men moving more traditional conservative, women moving more left. How do you talk about dating when you can't even agree on the future of society? I think there's just way too much to find a nice, easy fix for this. If you were to ask me really what it is, it's complete societal breakdown on every level. And this is just one portion of it. That's how I feel about all of this stuff now.
Yeah, that's heavy, man. And yeah, man, I largely agree with you. I would perhaps say that I think the intergender relations are actually extremely important. I think if we talk about it just through like about, dating and stuff like that, then it sounds unimportant. But ultimately, as a species, if men and women are not coupling and are not reproducing, I mean, you look at South Korea for an extreme example of this, then your society is cooked, right? Like you give
Yeah,
it enough time, and you don't even have a population anymore. So I think it's
that's irrelevant. In my opinion, that's irrelevant. The only
oh,
reason they want
okay.
the only reason they're so freaked out about population growth is the Ponzi scheme of Social Security and all these welfare and benefit programs. They're Ponzi schemes. You need more people putting money in than taking out. And so when you have Japan and South Korea becoming aging, they don't have the pensions anymore. They don't have the social benefits anymore because you're on the backside. When you're on the backside and you've got an aging population and everything shrinking, you don't have the funding to do all the giveaways anymore. And so, really, all it means is as we shrink, if we take away these social programs, it means that Social Security doesn't take care of grandma and grandpa, the kids do. It brings the family unit closer together. That's what they worry about. They don't want men and women getting along. They don't want black and white getting along. They don't want different generations getting along because a close knit family unit that cares for itself is strong. They want everybody individual. And when I say they again, we can talk about all the various
Yeah, no, it's
they,
fine. I know what
but
you mean. The powers that be.
yeah, a family unit has one worker, it's one taxpayer, it's one provider, and they get paid a lot. Five workers, they all get paid much less. There's five people to tax, and they're all more easily, uh, they're more malleable. They're more easily fooled. The last thing they want is a family unit. The last thing they want is multiple family units. They don't want community. They don't want black and white getting along, men and women getting along, people getting married, people having faith, people having church, because it's close knit. We don't need the government. We don't even want the government then. But when you tear everything down and make everybody reliant on the state, and you don't have any faith anymore, you don't have trust in your fellow man, you don't have that relationship, you don't have children, what are you living for? Like, why do you care? And so it's just, eat the bugs, give me the food, give me the cubicle, who cares? It really is when you start looking on a macro, a much larger scale. I think that's really the issue that trickles down into all the hate and the craziness we see in the world today. It's coming from the top. Now, maybe I'm starting to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but when you really look at why is it at the same time? I'm sorry, I'm going on a complete tangent, but I'll leave this as my kind of closing thoughts. When you look at why are they putting in digital IDs and why are they trying to control money with digital currency and why are they trying to do lockdowns like during the pandemic and why are they trying to make men and women hate each other and why are they bringing in immigration when they know people are at each other's throats And then they'll have to bring in a police state to clean everything up. When you start looking at all the individual pieces and chips, and you say, why is this all happening at the same time right now? They're trying to move in for checkmate. The 15-minute cities, controlling where you go. It's all about control. And what they can't control is a family unit and a community that doesn't need the outside world and loves each other and supports each other and wants to be around each other. That community will fight them tooth and nail, and they can't have that. And so they're working for destruction. And so far it's working, and I don't know how we mend it, but it's not at the bottom. It's not figuring out what's going on dating apps and why guys can't get likes and women are all swiping on the top 10%. You don't fix it there. What you do is you start looking at the bigger picture of how are they driving men and women, black, white, poor, rich, how are they driving a wedge and isolating everybody? You figure that out, the rest of it falls into place.
Amen. I resonate with a lot of what you just said. And, I feel like we've come full circle because ultimately this is why marriage and family formation matters and people have such a stake in it. I totally agree with you that, the stronger the family, then the weaker the state. If they can fracture all of that and just get everyone isolated, then yeah, it becomes easier for the government to just take over everything. Communists in particular were against the family unit for this very reason. So yeah, man, that's why again, that's why I say, I do think the stakes are high. It might manifest in very silly ways online, but yeah, it does matter. And maybe I feel particularly passionate about this after having my first son being born this year. So I'm like, okay, like I already cared about this stuff, but it gives you the stake in the future, and you're thinking of, okay, what's the world and society that my future children are gonna grow up in? And yeah, you don't want it to be more jacked up than it is already. So we'll
Exactly.
see. But I live in Dubai, and Dubai is as far as the world goes, it's a very sane place. So lots of these things that
Lots,
we're
lots.
talking about are not they're nowhere near as sort of extreme and disordered there.
Yeah, but well, it's a very if I'm not mistaken, it's still pretty patriarchal, is it not?
I mean, yeah, I mean it's all the Gulf countries, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman. I mean, certainly by Western standards, um, you know, liberal Westerners would bristle at certain things there. But I mean, Dubai is probably like the most liberal city in that region of the world. So it's not like
Would
it's
you call it patriarchal and I mean more so than here, more patriarchal and more authoritarian?
certainly more authoritarian. It's not a democracy, but with that comes like it's one of the safest places in the world and one of the sanest. And there's no taxes. I think it's easily one of the best cities in the world. But different strokes for different folks. I'm not here trying to like shill Dubai to anyone or tell people to move. Different people like different things. But for me, and considerations for myself, my family, I could choose to live anywhere in the world. I'm blessed to be able to say that, and yeah, that's where I've chosen for now. So I think it's a good spot. I wouldn't even say it's I just say like it's just normal. Like Dubai is very reminiscent to me of like where I don't know the UK and US were, let's say in the 90s. Like it was just kind of normal, a healthy balance between liberalism and conservatism.
Yeah.
Not like all the way one way or all the way the other. No one there is like transing kids. I've never seen a pride flag ever, like not one, in the whole country. Um, they're not doing all this like insane stuff. They're not trying to like tax everybody to death or bring in gazillions of illegal migrants or whatever. There's zero tolerance of crime there. So it's just I don't know. It's just sane. It's just sane, and it's nice to be somewhere sane. So one of my personal solutions for a lot of the crap we've been talking about and a lot of the other things going on is to just make an individual choice to move yourself and your family to somewhere which is just better aligned with your values and where you don't feel like you're swimming upstream against the culture all the time. And in the US, one great thing about it being such a big country is there are so many conservative and sane pockets. So even if you don't want to like leave the country, UK is less like this because it's so much smaller. But in the US, there's so many sane pockets that you don't have to live in San Francisco. You don't have to live in Baltimore or Seattle if you want to just be somewhere normal. You've got the option.
And since the states in many cases can overrule the federal
Yeah.
government, if you go to a very conservative area, many times the city holds more sway than the state, and the state holds more sway than the federal government, which is such a brilliant system.